Site. I'm your host, Gamer, and I am so pleased today to introduce the world to someone that I just can't say enough about, and I am so honored to call him my friend, my teammate here at AIM Design and Development, Dr. Robert Avila.
Well, thank you, Gamer. I don't know if I can actually live up to that, but let me sit in your seat.
You are in my chair, Doc, because you are the reason we are here. You are the reason AIM Design and Development is here. So today, Doc, you're in my seat, but I also want you to notice I'm in white, you're in black. We're the yin and yang.
That is true.
Works
we
here
are
at AIM
the
Design
yin
and
and yang twins. I'll tell you, that's true. That's true.
So Doc, just to let you know, Katie, and for those of you keeping track at home, Katie was 10 minutes early today. Okay, I got a text. I was coming from a business meeting, and Katie was 10 minutes early. Shout out to Katie, our producer.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Katie, why don't you start us off with our Would You Rather question for those of you who have been listening to our one episode. This is number 2, and Katie starts us off with a great question.
All right. Week 2, would you rather? Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn?
Good
That's a good
question,
one.
Doc.
I personally would go back to the age and re-step my missteps.
Good one. I'm going to go the opposite way because what I've learned in life is if I had changed anything about the journey I have been on, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. I wouldn't have met the amazing man that I just can't tell you how much fun we have at work here and the people in my life. So I'm going to go the opposite way, and you'll learn on Constructive N Site. I am a big nerd, and so if I can get all the knowledge, I will take all the knowledge. So great. That was a great question. Katie, we're going to ask you. We're throwing it to you.
Okay, hold on. I have an extra to yours, though. Okay. All right. So going forward, it also would mean that at some point, the knowledge stops. So you would know when your time was up. Are you good with that?
You know, I shout out to any 12-steppers. I live my life one day at a time. So if I could get all the knowledge today, I'm going to stay in today.
For me, I would choose, I'd probably go back. But I'd go back for the reason of, I don't think I want to know when it ends. Like, I don't think I want to know when it's all over. So I would probably go back and fix some things that, like, I wasn't too proud of, or that if you could save somebody from doing something, or, speak up, do any of that.
Okay, see, now you changed mine. So, all right, we can always change here. So Doc would fix all his missteps. We could change the past.
Funny.
And, I'm going to go with the lessons I learned the hardest way or the best way I can help others avoid those mistakes. So, okay. So, wow,
That was deep.
We got deep here. Really
Solid
quick.
answers.
Yeah,
Solid
that was
answers.
deeper than I think I realized.
Yes. So, well, thank you both. That was deep, and that's our icebreaker. So, Doc, you are in that chair today, and we're all here because of you. So, if you could briefly, tell us, how did it all start for you, Doc? How did we get here to not only Avila Integrated Medicine and all the medical divisions, but AIM Design and Development?
It's been an interesting journey, but before I actually touch base on that, I want to, thank God for the journey that I've been on. I want to thank my wife for consistently being by my side as we've navigated this crazy journey, and for all the quality people that work for AIM today, and for you, Gamer, as we're embarking on the newest division of AIM, Design and Development. You're my project manager. You're my confidant. You and I actually bounce off a lot of ideas. I love your outside the box type thinking, your ability to navigate, and your communication is top notch.
Well, thank you, Doc. And I appreciate that compliment. But at the same time, I'm going to give an additional shout out to Doc's wife, Kelly, because they have 5 beautiful daughters that they raised while creating everything that AIM is today. So
Truly, I'm
we
truly
need to give Kelly a shout.
absolutely, and I'm truly, truly blessed. How my journey started out is about 25 years ago. I got thrown into to construction, not knowing anything. Opening my first practice, thinking that the contractor that I hired had my back, so to speak. That wasn't the case, and consequently, when you're limited on money and you're limited on time, you're always looking for someone to be able to assist you in trying to gain that back. And after what transpired during my first build, I told myself I'd never put myself back in a situation like that again. So consequently, along with running my own practice, I gained as much knowledge as I possibly could, and lo and behold, 25 years later, here we are. And I acquired my Class A license, which is an unlimited license across the nation. And it allows, AIM, which I thought was going to be specifically for AIM. When I acquired my construction license, it was primarily for the benefit of my own company, not knowing that I would be working closely with other colleagues and business acquaintances across the way. And now it's transpired into its own division.
Which is pretty amazing, the transformation. I get the question a lot, why do you have a spine? Because we all use the same AIM logo. And, I said it's a good general contractor is the backbone to any good project. And when Doc and I met on a job site, instantly, I felt like I knew you. I had known you forever. When I was driving back, we met in a town about 2 hours south of here, and I'm driving back going, oh my, calling people, you wouldn't believe I met this guy. Little did I know that I would be fortunate enough to partner with you and work with you on these projects. So what I appreciate about you, Doc, is you are willing to look outside, and we do view things a little differently here in that how does it affect the community? And can you speak a little more to that? Because I love how you see the vision as well of we're not just building a building. There's a reason behind it, and talk about our latest project.
I'm going to go back to what you stated and how we actually met, because at the time you were a vice president of another company, and I needed the resources from your company to complete a demolition of a building. And as the vice president, every time I called, you picked up. Every time I would call and leave a message, you were the one that returned my phone call, which to me in today's society where customer service, it seems like it's lacking across all facets, you made it a constant to be that individual that was my contact. And I appreciated that. And even along the lines when we didn't necessarily know, or my client didn't necessarily know that we were going to be working with you, you still took the time out of your day to make sure that my client was well informed about the needs of this project. And in doing so, at that moment, I had a sidebar with her and told her that no matter what, we were going with you. Because when you put that type of level of insight, you communicate that, you develop an opportunity to trust the individual and the process. And that was the reason why we decided to choose you. Now I'm going to go back. I almost didn't take this project on. That means crazy. We may not have met.
Right. See? Maybe that would have been a misstep you could have fixed. We can go back to that.
Maybe.
So, and I love the kismet, and some people call it being in the flow. And that's really when we started talking about a podcast. We had a lunch and we said,
so let's make this perfectly clear. Gamer, you were the one that came to me and said, Doc, I have a great idea, which you got a lot of great ideas. And you said, I want to do a podcast. I don't do a lot of social media. I like being in the shadows. And when you stated this, I was like, So the first thing that I did was, I'm not joking, I jumped on YouTube and started watching as many podcasts as I possibly could because I wanted to know what's it like, right? And I think it's a wonderful vision, to be very frank. I think it's phenomenal that you are looking to you know open the eyes of the construction industry. An industry that I come from an area where there's a tremendous amount of regulation on the healthcare side. On the construction side, there's not as much regulation. So, and also what we found out as is there's a lot of lone wolves
Mhm.
where these individuals, they don't want to collaborate. They don't want to establish partnerships. They don't want to see the bigger picture. And consequently, truly, that's where growth in all models are going is collaboration and
Absolutely.
the ability to make those connections so that we can all win, and primarily our clients win. The product is better, we actually perform at a higher level, and there's accountability.
And the community benefits as a whole. I think it is seeing that whole vision, not just the site, SITE, where we're building a building. Excuse me. We are doing a hospice and palliative care center in Trinidad, Colorado, a very underserved community for those types of services. Now, if we just went in and said, this is the building they want, we're building a clinic, this is what it is, and didn't open a broader conversation with the client, with the community, letting architects dream a little bit. We have been on multiple calls with landscape architects, knowing where the city's going. We had a meeting with the city, and they envision a river walk for that community. And this property abuts that river walk. How do we make this building? How do we work with our client so that it really becomes a part of the community? Because I think when you hear hospice and palliative care, you think death, dying, not things where they really want to bring it to a celebrate life, be a part of that community. If we're not having those conversations, we're just building a building. We're not
100%.
becoming a part of the community. And that's what I love about that collaboration.
I think you just showed everyone the reason why you're my project manager because of what you just stated. You see beyond what most see. And I think that's the most interesting aspect of all is that we build those relationships, and the relationships that a lot of times get pushed aside because, well, it's all about just the project. But truly, you got to understand what the vision is to understand the project.
Well, thank you. And that's part of what excites me so much about AIM and what we're doing. And that's why on this podcast, we've talked about it. We've talked with Katie, our producer. We want to have all different people on. We're going to have people that, quote unquote, are competition, that we're going for similar jobs, because that conversation matters. And maybe they have a skill set we don't have.
And I'm going to add that one more thing to that. I don't believe that I don't talk about competitors. I talk about the word that I would rather use is colleagues.
Love it.
And the reason for that is because the only competition that I have, or most of us should ever have, is within ourselves. So to be honest with you, I'm not competing with anyone.
Love it. Love it. And
Yeah.
I wanted you, that's what you say every day. So I'm glad that we were able to bring that out as well. And what's next for AIM? Who knows, right? But I want to hear a little of your vision. We live in a vision and follow up world. So
It's been interesting. I think there's 5 divisions now of AIM, and we're contemplating maybe a 6th or a 7th in the very near future. And it all has to fit. It all has to fit in the grander scheme and the plan that we actually have. And when the plan is bigger than yourself and you want to provide for others, we've been very fortunate that we've actually have acquired tremendous growth, focusing on the people. And if we do that and we stay consistent with that same approach, in this model, in this division, the opportunities that that are out there. There's construction right now is a $10 trillion industry across the world. And we have to start thinking about outside the boxes. We have to start thinking about how do we utilize different materials? How do we improve our efficiencies with the workforce getting so much older? How do we acquire that younger generation to look at the opportunities that provide them in the vocational type fields? Because if you look around, most of these schools, they're underfunded, they're pulling all these programs. So these kids have no exposures whatsoever. And it's actually very, very sad, because who's going to provide the infrastructure of our communities moving forward?
Agreed. And I believe I mentioned this on our first podcast. The average age of the skilled trade worker in the United States is 55 years old. And we need to get people excited. And construction, people don't see the skills and the ways that they can provide for their family and make a really good living with these trade programs. So something that we are active in here at AIM, again with Doc and Kelly's blessing, is working with local schools to provide that funding for trade programs, to get those skilled trade programs back into schools. My nephew just graduated from a high school that was a trade high school that was a one-off that they were trying. He graduated with his associate's degree in business. He graduated as a skilled welder. He can then go apprentice. They're learning those trades that we desperately need. And we are working. There's one thing to sit here if we just wanted to decry the state of, oh, there's no workers. What are we doing as a construction community to go create those workers, to go find them? Who do we need to partner with? And that, instead of being, oh, well, we can't fix it, I believe we can together. And so I look forward to the work we continue to do in the community to bring that next generation of workers up, of those skilled trades that at the end of the day, you're providing for your family and you have the comfort of a job well done.
And Gamer's just not talking. She actually has an upcoming meeting with PCC, the new president of PCC. And also, I would love for you to actually even set up some time with District 60 and 70, just to see exactly where they're going with those programs.
Love it.
And the necessities that are, if we don't have the infrastructure to establish new growth within our communities, we're going to limit ourselves to the point where is the growth? Where does it come from? And we don't want to have to wait until there's an exterior or some type of individual that comes from the outside to our community to make growth happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We have the resources.
And what I love is if we're doing it collaboratively and we're bringing in the educators, the nonprofits, the schools, if we bring everyone together, we will create a framework that can leave Pueblo, that can be implemented all across the country. So, exciting things here. Follow this space. Doc, I can't thank you enough for making time. Like I said, I am one of 5. AIM D&D is one of 5 divisions. Thank you for making the time. And just so you know, we end every episode with our OSHA Tool Box Talk. So set your phone up on your tailgate, get your crews ready. And this week, we're going to talk about an issue that 18% of non-fatal injuries on a construction site happen due to this issue. Can anyone guess what it is? Katie? Doc?
Not tying your work boots.
Okay, now that's taking it way back to basics. So it's job site cleanliness. Trips on the same level. So not falling off a building, not falling off a roof. We'll get to those in later episodes. There's a spoiler alert. But having a dirty job site, people carrying something, walking backwards, trip and fall, they get injured. It's a simple thing of working clean. Those are our safety hazards we can take care of in 15 minutes at the start of our day, at the end of our day, right at lunchtime. If you use something, they were teaching us that way back in kindergarten. Pick up your toys. Well, pick up your tools, pick up your equipment, because non-fatal injuries, according to OSHA, account for an average of 11 missed days at work per incident. So that's a lot of missed time. Your families, you're not getting paid often in construction for that time. The projects get behind when you take it to the upper level. So again, clean up those job sites, have your designated trash, build that time in. I'd rather a crew take 15 minutes to clean the job site than miss someone for 11 plus days because they're unable to work because of an injury. So it really does take all of us. If you're at the top, take a walk on your site, clean up your site, remind your crews, because safety starts with you. So, and again, our job here is whatever condition you came to work this morning that you're listening to this Toolbox Talk, you go back to your family in the same condition. So there's your OSHA Safety Toolbox Talk. Thanks again to Dr. Robert Avila for coming and speaking with us today. And until next time, this is Gamer. Suit up and show up no matter what your community needs you.